practice what I preach, I guess, as far as the songs and stuff like that. I mean, I'm in general anti-spiritual religious person as far as that kind of stuff goes. I just believe in my own natural instincts as I guess, an animal kind of thing. And I just feel that, at least for myself, that, I don't know, I don't need any kind of religious crutch or anything like that. It's just not something that I feel is right for everybody. I mean, I think some people, do need, some kind of spiritual guidance and all that kind of stuff. Whatever, that's fine for them. But for me, I feel that, you just got to be, true to yourself and treat people the way you want to be treated. Just, basically don't be a dick or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, honestly, I really could care less if what people's religion are, if they're religious or not. Personally, it just doesn't affect me at all. It's just that, the music that we do and just the lyric content, it just, those, the darker side of life, and just the fact of, expressing that you could be, free from religion and still, and be true to yourself and not have to worry about that crutch. It's just, I guess another option. You don't need to be a part of any of the big religions or any religions at all if you don't want to. Who cares,
Agreed. The 1970 EP, which featured a brilliant cover of Death's Scream Bloody Gore, clearly explains the band's respect for death and their contribution towards death metal. I also heard that Incantation joined arms with the legendary Martin Van Drunen of Asphyx to perform the song live at the recent Maryland Death Fest. That was certainly a moment to remember for the lucky audience. What do you personally feel about the cover and that special live performance?
Okay, well, first of all, about doing the song, it's not, we didn't do it in the way that most people think we did. Like, it wasn't like we knew that Chuck had cancer, or we didn't know. It was just, I don't know, it's hard to explain, but this is the way we were looking at it. Was at that time, we wanted to do a cover song, and we were looking at bands that people forgot about, or people forgot about, like, an era of that band and the impact that it had. And at that time, death wasn't really so popular, and they obviously were a lot more progressive at that time, or before that time. I think they were broken up at the time we did it. I can't remember, but we wanted to do something to respect the death that, we grew up with, and the impact that Scream Bloody Gore had on us as a band personally, or just as people personally, and how the impact it had on the scene. Because before Scream Bloody Gore, there wasn't really a death metal album like it. I mean, there were death metal albums or death metal recordings, but nothing with that quality to it, I guess, as an album. It was a really special album for me, and we decided on doing a track for it or whatever on Forsaken Morning of Angelic Anguish EP, and it was just more or less to, like, trying to tell people, like, dude, don't forget what death was and what important impact it's had, and that we respect where we come from as a band and stuff. And Death is one of those bands that helped shape death metal and helped shape us as a band. Just because Death changed their style to more progressive doesn't mean that the stuff that they contributed to the scene early on is any less important or whatnot. And as far as the Maryland Death Fest, we did the song there, and we actually, we spoke with Martin Van Drunen before the show and asked him, if you feel free to come up, we're gonna, do the song, and be an honor to, jam with you and stuff like that if you want to. We actually asked a couple different people, but Martin was definitely, definitely a perfect person to be singing a death song with his amazing vocals and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, and he was kind of like, I don't know if we'll come up or whatever, But then once we started playing the song or whatever, I guess, he just got into it and just, came up there and did the course, with us for it. And it was, just a lot of fun because actually I kind of wasn't expecting him to come up because I kind of thought he was like, I'm not going to do it or whatever. So it was really kind of cool. And for me, it was a fun and cool way to just show people that, the scene that we come from, we're all friends. We all grew up, liking the same bands and liking a lot of the same stuff. And it's not a contest, between bands. We're all brothers from back then and stuff. And we all respect each other. And it's just I think it's a great, great thing to, work together or just do a song or jam with stuff with, our friends. I mean, we even offered King Fowley from Deceased to come up and sing the Mob Rules at that fest too with us. He ended up getting caught up with some other stuff at that time. He had some personal issues at the show at that time. But, we at the fest, we just wanted to make it a, a fun kind of celebration of, death metal and also, show respect to, Ronnie James Dio, which was a big influence on us. Just wanted to make the show a special show and not the normal Incantation show of just, us playing our songs, which is fine too, but at a fest we wanted to make it a little more, a little different. And it was cool.
Nice, that's a great story, and very good input upon the brotherhood of death metal, which should always stay intact. And speaking about shows, Incantation recently had a bad experience at a show, and would you please explain what exactly happened there and what was there on that gig?
You're talking about the Hall of Fame New York City show, right?
Right.
Yeah, that really sucks. Well, basically, I mean, the venue for the show ended up changing, and somehow when the venue changed, there was some information that we got that wasn't, like we didn't know that. Basically, the venue got changed. We didn't get all the information properly for it, and we were under the impression that we were having a later show at the venue, because usually when we play that venue, we have a later show. And basically, we had a really long ride from Chicago to New York, which was like about a 17-hour trip. So we knew that we were going to get to the venue late, but basically, when the day of the show happened, and we contacted the club, let them know, what our time schedule was. They ended up telling us that they rented the venue at I think it was like at 10 o'clock for a private party, and we had to end our show by 9:30, and we left Chicago at, I don't know, I can't remember, maybe 3 in the morning or something like that. So we had a hell of a long ride. We drove all the way out there, and we told them that, dude, there's no way that we can get to the venue at the time that the doors are supposed to open at 6 o'clock, and basically, there's nothing we could do about it. We just drove all the way out. I can't remember. I don't even know how far Chicago is, like halfway across our country, which is a pretty big country. And then we end up getting to the show late, and basically us and Mortician played. Unfortunately, Fatalist wasn't able to play, or Funerus wasn't able to play. And we only had about a little over an hour for both Mortician and Incantation to play at the show. We didn't even get to finish our Onward to Golgotha album, and our original set was we were going to play Onward to Golgotha, plus we were going to play another like 5 or 6 songs after that. So it was really kind of disappointing, but it was just some miscommunication between us, the club, our booking agent, and somehow, unfortunately, we were the last ones to know about important information that we need to know about the show. But my plan is next time we play New York City, we're gonna play an extended set and finish up the Onward to Golgotha album from we finished up with Christening the Afterbirth, and we're gonna start the next set and do, Mortal Cessation and finish up the Onward to Golgotha album before playing our normal set, just to kind of, do that for our fans. At least we could do something, because it really sucks. But I have to admit that our New York City fans are absolutely fucking killer. I mean, even though we had all these problems or whatever, I mean, a lot of people still stayed at the show, and they were totally, totally into it. I mean, as soon as we got there, people were just cheering, and just everybody was really excited about the show. It really made us feel good as a band, because we worked really hard to get over there and try to make it on time. And even though we got there late, it's like all our fans still stayed around, and it was total mayhem. I mean, people were just. It was just headbang, and it just, the way death metal shows should be. So it was, even though it was a sucky situation, the New York crowd showed us that, they believe in us, and that, they were happy, that we did step up to the plate and make it there the best that we could. And, we put our heart into the show, and I know that they could feel that. So it was really cool.
Great. Okay, the next question would be that the very next album after the 97 EP was a spectacular Diabolical Conquest, which is indeed a milestone in Incantation's great musical career. It was made so astonishing by the presence of Daniel Corchado from the Chasm on vocals, bass and guitar. Daniel is also amongst my favorite musicians of all time, and it was so great to hear his contribution and another favorite band of mine. Tell me that how did this unholy alliance came into existence, and what were the responses and various live shows and fests which you did with Daniel?
Well, I mean, I was a fan of Daniel's bands before he was in the Chasm, which was Cenotaph.
Yeah.
And we played with them it was Autopsy, Incantation, and Cenotaph. We played in Mexico City. I think it was 92 or something like that. So, we knew him a little bit from then, and then we also, later on, we did some touring in Mexico, and we got to meet him, and we just knew that he was a, diehard, death metal fan, and just a real metalhead and stuff. And the connection just clicked. And then, once, originally we asked them to come up from Mexico to fill in when we were having some problems with some of our other members in the band. We just thought it was a good option. And, it just really seemed to work. And I think, we had a lot of the album written before Daniel came into the picture, but what happened was when Daniel got there, he was able to put in his flavor, I guess, to a lot of the stuff. I mean, not just his vocal style, which I thought was really good, and I thought it was a good thing that he was able to do his vocal style his way and not just copy what we had in the past, because I think if you just try to copy, the past or whatever, or somebody else, you're not going to get the most out of it, and I think his vocal is definitely passionate, but even just the little added musical ideas and stuff like that, it took the songs that Kyle and I really worked hard on and kind of gave them, his little extra twist on it. And I think, the more people you sometimes have, the toss in little ideas here or there, it just makes a good song better. And I think he really helped, that aspect. And it was a great time. I mean, it was just unfortunate because after we recorded the album and everything, we kind of knew that the chances of Daniel being in the band long term was just, not going to happen and stuff, because his heart was in doing the Chasm, and that was cool. And an interesting fact too is that about a year or so before we did Diabolical Conquest, actually it was closer to the Forsaken Morning of Angelic Anguish, we had Craig Pillard fill in on vocals on that recording.
Yeah.
And it was kind of strange because about after we did the Forsaken Morning, Craig, we kind of, weren't sure what we wanted to do vocal-wise, and we ended up finding another vocalist local to us that didn't work out. He only lasted for about 6 months, and we called up Craig because we actually wanted Craig to do the Diabolical Conquest album, but by that time he had a permanent job in New Jersey and stuff. He just wasn't able to dedicate the time for the band and everything. But yeah, I mean, we originally were looked